Alright, look, guys. I like movies. I like seeing movies. I like talking about movies. And now that I got this whole, second channel posting more to it more often, experimental vlog type videos, I figured, hey, there's sometimes I want to make a video about a movie, but, not every movie that I see is video worthy. And this is one of those times. So I figured, hey, I already have a backlogged, which you should follow me on, by the way, uh, that I use to make, sometimes lengthy reviews of movies that I find interesting, and sometimes, classic letterbox jokey reviews, which is part of the reason why I love letterbox so much. So I want to use this platform as a way to just talk about movies, because I think it's fun. So I have no idea what I'm gonna name this series. I don't know, maybe something stupid like Manta's movie night. But in the meantime, I just saw The Beekeeper. Because I was looking for a dumb, fun action movie to watch. It's January, infamously known for having no good movies to come out. That's when everyone's already gearing up for award season. The holiday season's over. People are a little more reserved in their money spending, and the window to release all the big movies. It's also the halfway mark between summer, so, no point in releasing anything big there. So just a dumping ground for the shitter movies. But when I saw the trailers for Beekeeper, I thought, you know what? This looks stupid, but it looks fun stupid. It's Jason Statham playing a, deep cover secret society of the super secret agent man. But he's basically a John Wick like. So much of this movie is like so taken uh from the John Wick universe, where he just plays like a former operative of a group organization called the Beekeepers, which operate outside the chain of command of the United States government. Where if one part of the world, or at least the country, gets too corrupt and takes advantage of one layer of society so much, in this case, the phishing scammers or like the strong who are corrupt with government officials, take too much advantage of the weak. They go in and they correct the system to ensure that the hive operates. There's a lot, there's a lot of bee analogies in this movie. So in this movie, Jason Statham is this beekeeper, and he's living a quiet life with this elderly lady who he I think lives on her farm as a neighbor and just pays to use her land to do his little beekeeping job. And they say she's the only person who's ever taken care of him. This okay. There's a You'll have to forgive my scattershot approach to this because this movie, likes to cut a lot of corners, and this is my first time doing one of these, so I'll find the flow. So bear with me with these teething issues. So first big problem with the movie. They say that this lady has been the only person who've ever taken care of Jason Statham. He plays a guy named Adam Clay, but I think we're just gonna call him Jason Statham the whole time. And he keeps saying that, but at no point are we ever shown a point of contrast. It's like, okay, was your life like shitty before? I mean, obviously you did like beekeeping stuff before. He's a retired beekeeper, with that secret agent life, but he we never see him in a before state. We just know him as this unstoppable, relentless force of nature who all of the villains are terrified of him. Like if they all the ones who don't know who he is, underestimate him constantly, and then they get their shit pushed in. And then the ones who do know him are practically shitting their pants, a la John Wick. Like they once the Jeremy Irons character, who is I suppose the guardian of the one of the shitbag sons who runs this phishing scam operation that has ties within the government. When he catches wind that's like, oh, a beekeeper's after you. Oh, you're fucking dead, son. Like he is going to kill you. He's gonna murder you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Pray to any one of your impotent gods, but Jason Statham is coming for you. So clench your butt cheeks. So when these phishing scammers come after the elderly lady that Jason Statham is the neighbor to, They scam her for everything that she's worth. She falls for the classic, "Hey, your hard drive is at risk. Please call this number and give us all of your personal info. Wire us some money, and we'll take care of it for you so you don't lose all your precious data." She falls for it, loses all of her savings, and I guess she was a head of a charity fund for children, so she lost like the charity money too, I guess. And in one act, which is really strange to me, I thought the lady from the trailers, like I knew she had gotten phishing scammed. It's part of the reason why I wanted to go see this movie, which I'll touch on in a bit. But I thought that when she like lost everything, she was just gonna be like, "Oh, what am I gonna do?" And my life is over. She's gonna like try to appeal to the authorities, but they're unable to help her because this phishing scammers like work in the shadows as they so like to do and are hard to trace back. And then Jason Statham would be like, "Oh, all right, you hurt the lady that was so nice to me. I'm gonna come fucking kill all of you." Uh, no, this bitch killed herself. She takes a gun and she fucking domes herself in the head after realizing that she's lost everything, which is really strange to me because we find out shortly after that she has a daughter who works in the FBI. So it did not, I guess she was so stricken with grief and, sadness from losing all that money that did not occur to her to try to at least take this to her daughter who works in the FBI and not leave her, motherless and alone. uh, yeah, that was really weird. Didn't like that, beat. It was entirely unnecessary, but, that's all Jason Statham needs to push himself to go after these guys, and that's where the fun part of the movie comes in. Because the core reason that I wanted to see this movie out, despite it being a, January, uh, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, throwaway action movie, to give the game away, uh, is because I thought it was going to be very cathartic for seeing phishing scammers get their shit pushed in because I as embarrassing as it is to admit, I got hit by a phishing scam once, and even with all my 2000s kid age computer literacy, these phishing scammers were very, very good. They played by the they they didn't just play by the book. They acted like they wrote the book, and they got me good. Uh, I only lost like a couple $100, but it was embarrassing. And of course, when I tried to take it to the police, they couldn't do anything about it because what the fuck can you do? They operate on so many different webs; they're hard to trace, and all I have access to are the local authorities, who they aren't really equipped to handle. These motherfuckers probably live in India for all I know, or operate in India. So I wanted to go see this movie just as a point of like catharsis by proxy. Like, ooh, yeah, I'll watch, kick-ass action movies star Jason Statham, kill a bunch of phishing scammers. It's what they deserve. And he does do that. Yes and no, he does that. He kills some, spares others. Which is kind of weird to me. I thought he was gonna go on a, total demon death, all phishing scammers must die, go on his like free goblin slayer type shit. But no, he's weirdly selective of who he kills. He is kind of operates on this weird code of ethics that doesn't really hold up, which is another problem I have with the movie. He says on multiple occasions that if he can help it, he'll keep innocents out of it and doesn't want anyone, not getting their hands dirty involved. But there's like several points throughout the movie where he definitely kills people who are not involved with the phishing scammers. There's this one point where he's raiding the like the middle management, one of like the highest grossing places at the phishing scam company. And when he does, there's like the SWAT team that I think, God, I just got out of the movie. Who the fuck were they ordered by? They were ordered by uh the dude who runs the company, the old Jeremy Irons character who was tasked with looking after the son of the who runs the guy who's the son who runs the phishing scam operation. and they're like all SWATers and former SEAL Team Sixes who are corrupt, and well, actually, no, not even all of that. That he fights them and he kills some of them, and that's fine. But then there are some SWAT teams that are sent in from the FBI who are just doing their job because there's this guy who's taking the law into his own hands, and whether some of them there's a slight moral debate of, he's going after bad people who are taking advantage of the weak and innocent. Like, should we stop him? Like, he mostly just taking out them. But there's a point where, these SWAT guys come in and he fucking like brutally kills them in an elevator. Like, he drops an elevator shaft and like sets this rope trap that ties a bunch of them down. One guy gets straight up cut in half by, the elevator is falling down and he's trying to get out, but he doesn't get out all the way, and he gets caught between the floor and the elevator coming down, cutting him off from the entranceway. Uh, that guy probably had a family. Like, I don't think he was one of the corrupt SWAT guy. I think he was just doing his job, and he just killed him. Yeah, so that was fucking weird. Yeah, and it's like once again weirdly selective. There's this assistant of the like the partner of the daughter of the elderly lady who goes in after he goes with her after the Jason Statham, and he fights him, gets his ass kicked by Jason Statham. But all he says to him is that, "Wait, I have 4 kids." And he's like, "I know." And he disassembles all his guns and lets him live. It's like, well, how do you know those other fuckers who were after you? Who was he was like with the same unit, I'm pretty sure, didn't have kids. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird, Mr. Statham. But as far as the action in the movie goes, it's pretty fun. There's a couple moments of quick cuts that I was not too big a fan of, and I think the only time there was some dodgy editing in a fight was with one of that very SWAT team leader, who the corrupt SWAT leader in that very building. Who the setting is cool because the Jason's pulls a fire alarm and there's this cool like red glowing light aesthetic in this hallway, which is pretty memorable. But there's a lot of awkward cuts. I think a couple continuity errors. There's really awkward placements between where characters are relative to space that I noticed. That was kind of shoddy, but the rest of it is some of it's standard. Maybe a couple too many quick cuts for my liking, but a lot of fun creative action. The goofiest fight in this whole movie is and it's barely even a fight because like he mollywops her when the other beekeepers, because they're still active, catch wind that a retired agent is taking the law into his own hands. They're like, okay, well, we gotta stop him because he's not supposed to be doing this when he's retired. So they send an active beekeeper after him, and she's so clearly supposed to be a John Wick universe character because she's this 80s girl who dresses in like this big pink trench coat, which like she should not wear in fight. She comes out after him in high heels and carries a big ass minigun in the back of her pickup truck, which she uses to shoot at him in a gas station. It's like she looks straight out of the 80s. She's got 80s pop star hair. I think she might have had those like rectangular 80s like sunglasses. I might be imagining that because she's so 80s it hurts. But like it's really dumb. But it's like fun dumb. And Jason Statham just fucking annihilates her. She doesn't land a single blow even when she's raining down hellfire with a minigun. And I think she just like slams her into a couple gas pumps and then throws a jar of honey at her and lights her on fire, which is probably the sickest death in the movie. One of the other sick death. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Like I said, scattershot. I'm not. I'm doing this off the cuff. I literally just got out of the theater. Other cool moment, and spoilers abound. If you, I'm sorry. I'm doing it live. And I'm also really need to use the bathroom, so I'm kind of trying to wrap this up in the next like 5-8 minutes. Uh there's this character you probably see in the trailers. He's like one of the first heads of the fishing operation that he's going to go burn to the ground with cans of gasoline. And he goes af when Jason Statham burns down his operation. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. I'm gonna get my revenge and roll up with my boys. We're gonna ice this fool." He kills them all in really brutal fashion. Then he takes the head guy who then tries to kill him. He pushes his hand through this drill that slices off all of his fingers. And then he straps him to his old pickup truck and then drives him off a cliff. Not a cliff, off a bridge when he's like begging for his life. And like that was the kind of fishing scam revenge fantasy that I wanted to see more of throughout this movie. Because if you or anyone you know, any loved one you know, has ever been hit with a phishing scam, that is like the most cathartic thing in the world. He was like, bro, please, what do you not crypto NFTs? I'll get you NFTs, man. Just please don't kill me." And it's like the fact that like he's pitching NFTs to the dude who probably doesn't even know what a fucking NFT is. Oh, it's so perfect. Like that's the kind of movie I was hoping Beekeeper was gonna be the whole time. But then it kind of devolves into more of a generic action movie, sadly, as it goes along, because in a way to raise the stakes unnecessarily. Uh, so big spoiler: the son character, who is the head of the whole phishing scam operation, is actually the son of the Madam President. So that's already the most unbelievable part of this whole movie. You know that a woman could be president. I'm, I'm kidding, but uh, yeah. So in this version fictional America, this lady used to be CEO of this massive enterprise and then stepped down in order to run for president and won. Basically, a Donald Trump esque character. Uh, except I don't think Trump ever stood down from Trump Enterprise. I don't know. I don't know too much about politics, but it turns out that the son character used a bunch of embezzled money from people that he phishing scammed to help win the election for her, to get her campaign funds that allowed her to win a bunch of counties, and that got her elected. She It's weird because the president character is like shown, she like when she catches wind that a beekeeper is after her son, and I guess her also. Because it's implied that Jason Statham might kill the president in order to correct the system because she mothered this evil person. Uh she is like, you know what, we're gonna tell this beekeeper the truth. I'm gonna let this all come to life. And if I like have my reputation tarnished, so be it. The worst part about all that is that it was very unnecessary. We didn't need to take this to a matter of national security. It would have been much more fun if it was just, a fishing corporation that was like trying so hard to keep themselves out of like government spotlight, but that the government, it's like a three-way, race between, this fishing scam, the FBI and Jason Statham to, they're hot on each other's trail and trying to, take out the other before they are able to get away with what they're getting away with. And like that's what the movie should have been. But then scaling it up to, oh, he's the son of the president, so now we've got all these Secret Service people. This like could be a threat to national security. It was so unnecessary. There's this really fucking funny scene, the funniest scene in the whole movie, and it's by not intentional at all. It's when the son calls the lady, and we don't know she's the president yet. We just know that she used to be the CEO of the company that he works for. uh, and that she was like, "Okay, listen, I'll call you back. I'll meet you at the beach house." And then, when she's shaking hands with a bunch of foreign diplomats, then they all say, "Oh, good day, Madam President." And there's this big music stinger that got me and I think several other people in the theater to laugh out loud. It was really fucking silly, but completely unnecessary. The reason that the beekeeper like took so many elements from John Wick clearly is because John Wick is the big action movie series right now. I can't recall the last time we had an action movie series that stayed like this consistently great for throughout 4 fucking movies that people are not like sounds like they're not even close to sick with. I have all the John Wick movies on I think physically owned. I know for a fact I have the trilogy. I don't know if I have chapter 4 physical or not, but I haven't seen them yet, but I want to cuz I've heard nothing but good things. Uh the reason yeah, they take so many elements from John Wick because, that's the big thing. They got to follow the money. But the reason why John Wick works and that this one doesn't quite work as much is because John Wick takes place in a like more like heavily fictionalized universe where there's this whole like crime syndicate world where like assassins get like have their own unique currency and they have this like cool code of conduct and ethics that they operate by. Almost like they live in a world where people know, like the average Joe knows about like this assassin underground, but you're not supposed to like talk about it lest you like find yourself in their crosshairs and you're just supposed to let them like, hey, don't step on their shoes, they probably won't step on yours. This is just a dude who used to be part of this elite government group that everyone is like so fucking terrified of, and it is hilarious how much of an unstoppable force Jason Statham is. The only damage he ever incurs in the movie comes in his very last fight against this like I think guerrilla leader of a mercenary team who he says, "Yeah, I killed a beekeeper once and I only killed him because I got lucky." And then he pulls up his leg and then reveals that he lost his leg to the fight and he had to replace it with a metal one. Says, "But I got very unlucky too." And it's like just the canonical dick sucking of Jason Statham and the Beekeeper Society is like is really fun. I like when it's being fun stupid, but when it's getting generic stupid, like, oh, the main bad guy is the son of the president, like that was completely unnecessary. And then there's the absolute worst part of the movie, which is the daughter character. I feel like she could have been part of the big ideological clash of the movie of the law versus justice and which one is more important in the end. Like when that the bad people are doing bad things, like is it okay to sometimes go all vigilante Batman on them and take the law into your own hands and become like no the judge, jury, and executioner when like it's pretty safe to say that these phishing scammer guys there's plenty evidence that they're bad people and they have all excuse me all these like different webs and networks that can like keep them out of like the eye of the law and the iron grip of the law. And so that way the only way to truly punish them is to just fucking fuck them up yourself. She goes through the most bare bones, basic bitch ass version of that, where it also ultimately comes down to multiple times she has Jason Statham in her sights, usually with a gun pointed at him, and then he's like, "Hey, by the way, remember these guys killed your like pretty much responsible for killing your mom," and then she's like, "Yeah, but like I swore an oath, but at the same time." I'm not gonna do it, but because I swore an oath, but if I guess I'll let you do it because your hands are tied. And she's such a weird, unlikable character because she's constantly getting drunk, shown to not take her FBI job as seriously as she should, and has a lot of the movie's worst lines. Like when her mom's house gets burned down, she says, "I lost my virginity in that barn" to her partner. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? Like that was probably the worst line in the whole fucking movie. And I know I've been mostly negative this whole time, but that's only because everything else about it is pretty straightforward and pretty much dumb fun. This movie is no award winner. It's no fucking John Wick. But if Jason Statham is a reliably good action movie star, and he is undoubtedly the best part of the movie. He goes like full fucking Batman on every person he comes across, and gets a few satisfying fights and kills in this movie. And at the end of the day, that's all you really want. I wasn't coming into this looking for Shakespeare. I am a little sad that it abandoned its uh more grounded, let's take down this phishing scam corporation, and then just kind of escalated to, oh, let's kill the son of the president that just happens to also be the phishing scam guy. That part's unnecessary, but at the end of the day, I came in this movie looking for dumb fun action, and that's what I got. So I can't knock it too much. By the way, this was direct. Kind of dreaded going into this movie when I started looking up who made it today. I didn't know who directed it until I looked it up. David Ayer, who, for those that don't know, directed Suicide Squad 2016 and Bright, which are widely considered to be two of the worst movies of the 2010s. He also directed Fury more recently, the tank movie, which I heard middling things about. So when I heard that he was the Suicide Squad Bright guy, I was like, oh god. And there are some, bits of his DNA in those movies, but between those three, I haven't seen Fury, but between those three, I have seen Suicide Squad, Bright, and now Beekeeper. Beekeeper is head and shoulders above those two. So I would say Beekeeper, 6 out of 10. If you are looking for a dumb fun night and you don't mind blowing like $15 on a ticket, go see it with your friends. Go, have a couple drinks. Uh, yeah, if you want to wait for this movie to come out on a plane, in like a few months, or if it comes out on a streaming service, it's not a. You could watch a lot worse. I think 6 is a very fair score for a, serviceable action movie. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one.